But he's really being a nice guy about this, and he's admitting to all his mistakes, which we pretty much pointed all of them out, and he did as well. So it's nice to see that players are taking this the way they are.
Yeah, definitely. Jamesykins, you know, I've known Jamesykins quite a while. Met him at a few events, and he's quite a friendly person. He doesn't really seem BM. And he's constantly practicing, working on getting harder. So he has the right mindset for that. You know, he's not blaming his opponent for an OP race or anything like that. He knows it was his mistake, and he realizes that. And it's that's the mindset that you want. So, in my opinion, that's a good thing to have.
Definitely. Some of the guys in the chat saying Jamesykins best player, snitchables.
I think they're slightly trolling.
I think no, I am really a naive person and very trusting of other people, so I actually think that Snitchables is a fanboy of Jamesykins.
Maybe. Of course, they could be friends, they could be practice partners. They're both Zerg, so maybe they just like the
You
theory
never
craft.
know. You never know. The internets are all but anonymous. Gateway opening coming out of the Underdark, so this will be very, very interesting. Quick Zealot Stalker pressure, or maybe even Zealot Mothership Core, really popular, followed by an expansion into 3-gate pressure maybe, and getting a Stargate behind it. What do you think?
That is a very big possibility. Of course, there's so many things that come into it now. Like I was saying, gateways as a whole are a lot more popular because like with the Mothership Core, you can go pressure your opponent much faster, and the way it works out is totally different. Like we should see the Zerg take a gas as soon as he realizes it's not a Forge Fast expansion, and of course he's not going to take his third like you normally see at 4 minutes 20. So there's so many different things, but Underdark is going to have to make this worthwhile because he is hurting his own economy in the long run by doing a gateway opening in comparison to a Forge.
True enough. So, interesting gas mining here. Only 4 in each gas, and have been 1 for a little bit of a time. Now we're seeing the gases being filled up gradually by the Protoss. And just now started his Zealot, so delayed that for a little bit. And by the gas count, I would say that he'll go for a rather fastish core. I'm not really sure yet.
He should. Of course, he needs there's... Oh, no. It's a sentry, so okay.
Oh, wow.
He is going for a sentry. And he actually has 4 guys on one of his gases and 2 on the other. So that was a bit of a misclick there. And I think this is just going to be a 1-gate expansion followed up with, with some Mothership pressure. And he might recall back home. Just force a lot of units, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Exactly, I know exactly what you mean. Now the interesting part here is that Jamesykins knows this is a gateway expansion and he's not taking a gas.
He's not, which is very risky. Normally, for the viewers wondering, you normally want the gas because like the gateway timings and the gateway attacks that can come are so much faster than the Forge Fact expansion. And you want the Zergling speed to deny any type of scout, any type of the proxies, anything like that. And Zerglings of course with speed are going to be able to deal with attacks much easier. And
we do see the gases going down just now, so basically 1 base earlier the gases go down than compared to a 3-base opening or 3-hatch opening. Now there are 2 sentries. Of course, building sentries saves up a lot of minerals, so what Underdark is doing here right now, he is using up those minerals to build 2 additional gateways. And he doesn't know the timing of the gases. He did not scout. Yeah, he hasn't scouted if there's a 3rd base or not. And we see 3 additional gateways being put down. So now with the Phoenix hallucination, he will be able to see all there is. I don't really think he will be attacking once he sees this Roach Warren, though, even though gateway tech is finishing. So all he has to do is wait for those gateways to finish, and he can pressure. But I think those are just defensive ones to be able to hold on to his expansion with enough reinforcements.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a couple of things that give it away. I think we could still see some pressure. There is no probe that's gone across the map, but the interesting thing is there's no forge.
Yep.
So sometimes, of course, it if there's no forge, that means he might not need it for defensive reasons. You know, like he might not need a cannon because he's going to stay home. But like with the gateway opening, you always see something, some sort of pressure. There is a mothership core pressure in the third, and here come the units moving out of the natural. So I think he's going to meet up with his mothership core. And he, like, if he can, he's going to go for damage. If not, he's going to just recall straight home and just, you know, be happy that he forced his opponent to make, you know, these 3 roaches, 10 extra zerglings, and whatever else he's produced. So that is cool, but like I don't find it that beneficial. Okay, Forge now being added on, and a Robo, so that it will be some sort of follow-up. And there is also a probe with this.
Yeah, so Underdark pressuring relatively heavily. Now the problem is that instead of just clearing the nearest watchtower first and then going in with the rest of his units, he went all at once without even clearing the watchtower. So this was spotted, and Jamesykins had the exact right number of units before this attack even began. Now, why is this so bad, or why is it not as ideal, is you just wasted 100 energy on a mothership core and gained nothing out of it. True, energy will regenerate, but at the same time, Jamesykins know no Nexus cannon will be going down. I can do maybe a little bit of something here.
Yeah.
And we do see that, exactly like you mentioned, this map really potent for mutaplay. The Spire is being planted down, and considering the lateness of the third, it has to be mutas. There's no way he will be going into Infestation Pit or Hive Tech this quickly.
Definitely. And like you were saying, you know, as well, like, you know, he wasted energy on his mothership core. You didn't get anything done with that attack. Fair enough, he forced units, which maybe Jamesykins didn't want to build. But at the same time, that doesn't really hurt Jamesykins too much, because now he has units, and now he's gonna, you know, be able to keep his opponent in his base for a long time, stop him taking a third, or he's gonna force his opponent to come out of his base to you know, take a third because there's units, and you know that's. It's a bit of a, you know, a catch-22. Sometimes it benefits you, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends how it plays out. But at the moment, I don't think it played out too well. This has been scouted, as we do have a double Stargate being added into the mix, which is really interesting.
It is, and we also have excuse me?
He cancelled the Spire. He got scouted, he cancelled it.
Oh, he did cancel it. Oh, very nice move there. But at the same time, he did scout the Robo and the Robo Bay beforehand. So, you know, Hydras are not going to be that efficient once you have a couple of Colossi out. I'm a little bit questioning the reasoning here. The only thing, basically, if you're going Hydras, the only thing you can do versus a Colossi army, if you don't have Aspire, you're not going Corruptors. You have to go Hydras, and you have to have very good abducts and just sniping those Colossi off really fast. Now, 1 queen goes down of this Warp Prism harass, and
oh man, Underdark did not spot it. There is an observer flying around the main base, but he still thinks it's a Spire, and this. Like, this is very intelligent by Jamesykins. If it works out is a totally different question, but he's metagaming his opponent very hard, and so far he's correct. You know, he knows his opponent's Spire.
Oh my god, we have Phoenixes instead of Void Rays coming up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be Phoenix because he saw mutas. So this is going to be so many resources into that. Of course, Phoenix still do okay. You know, there's no spores in the main, so he can go, you know, pick up a queen, get a good amount of drones. If there's not that many Hydras, he can engage that, because Hydras actually give it.
This is, if I'm telling you, if Jamesykins counted on this, if he played his opponent this way, it's such a good move, because now he knows, hey, he thinks I'm going mutas, he will not be building any Colossi, because that wouldn't make any sense. So he's going to have Immortals and Gateway army and Phoenixes, and he's going Hydras behind this, so, you know, he can kill Phoenixes really fast. Hydras have a lot of DPS. Muscular augments are completed. 1-1 upgrades are going down.
First class is popping just now, so that is a big deal. The mothership core does get sniped, so that is really nice. There aren't that many units here, so Jamesykins has to be very careful. I think he should really take a 4th or maybe even a 5th base as well, just to stay even on his opponent. Oh, ahead, just a little bit ahead. And yeah, you're right. This is very smart play. And the best thing about this is it's situational. You know, he didn't, like, you have to, like, your opponent has to scout it. Obviously, that is nothing you can do. So he saw his opponent scouted it, and he's realized, like, what it is. And Underdark should now realize that it is Hydras, as the Spire did get cancelled. Spores now being added into the mix. There's a lot of lefts here though, so we should get a bunch of drones. There we are. He's going to steal them and pick them up.
You know, the interesting thing what Underdark can do, and what would play tremendously in his favor, now that he sees that, hey, the Spire's being cancelled, that means you don't have a Spire and your Hive is not down. Let me just start pumping Void Rays like crazy. He's got double Stargate. If he starts pumping out Void Rays right now, there will not be nearly enough Corruptors nor Vipers to take care of them in time. And there you have it, an unbeatable Protoss Death Ball.
Yeah, definitely. Templar Archives now being added into the mix, which I really like. There is that base, the fourth base coming down for Jamesykins. He hasn't taken that, you know, the one in front of his natural like I expected, and this is really interesting. He is. I think a double expansion is really nice when you see a third, but he doesn't really have anywhere to expand to. He has to take out the rocks in that like little island one. And then, of course, the other one is in the center of the map, which is not really the best place. Full space is also now being started for Underdark, so, you know, economically speaking, he's very close with his opponent, or, you know, very close. 75 v 80 harvesters, so...
I think we'll be heading into a, unless something something spectacular happens, which I would really like, we would be heading into a split map scenario late game, because it is starting to look like a, even, Jamesykins is even putting down spies all over the center of the map and evolution chambers, so that he can, you know, go back and recharge those Vipers, exactly what we are seeing right now. He will have full energy in no time, those spies will regenerate HP. Evolution chamber, the best building to siphon energy off of. Meanwhile, we do have a fourth base for the Protoss upgrades, only just now finishing +2, but the Zerg as well. So let's say they are even on upgrades, and the Storm is finishing now. Once Storm finishes, this Protoss army is going to get a lot more powerful, and it's all going to come down to positioning, spell usage, and Storm dodging, I feel like. Or Abduct dodging.
And yeah, and getting the feedbacks onto the Vipers is always a very important thing. These Phoenix are now harassing into the main again. There's not that many, only 4. No more were produced once Underdark realized what was going on. And some more getting picked off. One more, nope, nearly gets killed off. The life on these Phoenix is so low. That Queen wandering away, I have no idea why. It could have got a kill there, or 2, but unfortunately it did not. And there are also 7 Vipers with nearly max energy, so that is, you know, 2 Abducts each, some Blinding Clouds if they want. So that really could come into play. The Spire is now being added on, as of course he needs his Corruptors to deal with the Colossus, and the Vipers do get finally cleaned up.
Yeah, we're on 11, maybe even more gates by the looks of it. And, you know, let's look at the army composition a little bit, because we're heading that almost maxed out stage, so unit compositions become a big factor in the late game, such as it is. So we do have 35 Hydras, a lot of Hydras on Jamesykins' side. A couple of Overseers, that is always nice, so you keep Protoss in the dark. We have 7 Vipers with full energy, and the Protoss has 5 Colossi, 5 High Templar, also with a very high energy. Now this is all going to come down to feedbacks and storms similar to PvT. And here we have the engagement. Nice abducts on 2 of the first Colossi. Feedbacks going down on the Vipers as well. Do any of them have any energy? No! And the Zerg army is being forced back by the storms and the overwhelming number of Stalkers. And without the energy on those Vipers, no Corruptors on the way. This army is not as strong as it seemed just a few seconds ago, but at the same time, Underdark cannot engage yet.
No, not just yet. He still has a bunch of sentries, which are never really where you want it. A nice abduction on that Colossus. There are 2 left, there are a couple of Mortals, and there are, of course, a lot of Stalkers. There are about 30 Roaches that did just pop. They are streaming across the map, regrouping with the main army. So Underdark has to make sure that he doesn't overcommit here. There is also a Warp Prism, which is warping in Zealots into the main, so that is a nice little double-pronged harassment, and +3 is about to finish for the Protoss player. Now, the base outside the natural doesn't exist, so he just walks up, he's getting some creep, but he has to be careful that he doesn't get like locked in this position. He doesn't have the most powerful army, he does have a lot of force fields though, and there's no energy for storms, so the High Templars just run forward and get picked off. There's 5 energy left.
What Jamesykins is doing here, he's waiting on the Ultralisks.
Yeah.
Once the Ultras are in play, this is going to change the battle so much, because we have the majority of the army is Stalkers.
Ultras, there's only 2 of them. They're coming in from the side. One of them gets melted, the second one gets dropped. But this army is not going to be that cost efficient against the army of the Zerg. It's just...
And the force fields are all out. Without the force fields, this army really cannot manage the movement of the Zerg forces. But the Warpins and the main of Jamesykins are doing their work, and they are going to be really hurting. Even if all of this army falls, those Zealots... Oh my god. Oh my god, those Zealots.
And this is really forcing Jamesykins to multitask as hard as he can, and because of that, he's not getting his injects, he's not getting his lava, he's not producing, and he is about to lose the game as he drops 110 supply, nearly at 100, and he has nothing to remax on, he has no gas, and there's the GG.
Wow.